This is the craziest video I will ever make. I have never shared this story before. First time. This is the story of the country I will never go back to. No matter how much money you give me, I will never go back to this country. It's the story of a country where I had a thing with a girl, and I'm going to talk about it soon. And it's also where I made a couple of mistakes that almost cost me my life. And it all happened in the same country in 1 week. I finally have the courage to share this, and I've hid identities and everything, so everything is safe. The country is North Korea. That's the country I will never go back to. And why? What happened there, and why did I go there in the first place? Story time. Grab some coffee, sit back. We're here together. 10 years ago, I was an engineer in New York, and I was fascinated with the world. I wanted to visit so many countries, but there is one country that is cut off from the world. There's only one, really, which is North Korea. They don't have the internet. There's no even firewall. You just cannot enter without permission. You can't be there alone. I mean, North Korea is a different planet, and planet Earth is planet Earth, and then there is planet North Korea. So I said, I'm going to take a 2-week break from work. This is during December or something. And I'm going to go to North Korea. And it's actually not very hard to get in. You just need to get a visa and get approved and go with a tour guide. You cannot go alone. You have to be with a tour guide. You can never be alone in North Korea. And I did that. I paid a tour group and I flew to China, because from China, only China, I think, you can get to North Korea. And I did it by going on a train, a 24-hour train to enter North Korea. Now, I was 24 years old back then, and I was extremely scared, but I felt alive. All right, so we enter North Korea, and immediately I'm shocked. Immediately, I feel like it's a whole new world. Poverty levels, extreme. Internet, gone. There's no internet anywhere. No public Wi-Fi, no internet in your hotel, nothing. The minute you enter, the guard has to check every tourist and check every book that you have. You cannot come in with a religious book. You can't go to North Korea to spread religion. Good luck. You'll be detained. You cannot spread any crazy stuff in North Korea. So they check your books, they check your cameras, and they ask you a couple of questions. Okay, I'm not there to spread any religion. I'm not there to do anything. So we get in. And it's part of a tour group. A lot of Germans. For some reason, Germans love to go to North Korea. Actually, here's a fun fact. Germany has a North Korean embassy. Yeah. I bet you didn't know that. You should go there. Actually, let me double check. Does Germany have a North Korean embassy? Yeah, it is. And it's located in Glenkastrasse in Berlin Mitte. So lots of Germans on this trip. We enter North Korea. We get the visa. We pass through the guards. And oh my God, the poverty is much more than you think. Everything is like 70 years ago. And it's like you go back in time. And then you're assigned guides. And I was assigned a tour guide. One of the tour guides was, a 50-year-old woman, North Korean, and the other one was my age. She was 21, I was 23, and she was extremely beautiful. Now you know where this is going. And I was like, what is happening here? Anyway, I'll talk about this soon, because a lot happened there. These two are our guides, and we're there for 5 days to see North Korea. They give us the warnings, don't do this, don't do that, be respectful of this, and it's like, okay, fine, let's do it. We start to go to the monuments, we start to go to different places, and all of a sudden you realize that history is different in North Korea. We learn a version of history, which is, okay, there's South Korea, there's North Korea, the war started like this is the person who won, this is the person who started the war. And in North Korea, that version is completely different. completely different history. It's like we got attacked, we defended ourselves, we won, we're the best. South Korea is the worst. But I've been to South Korea. You've seen South Korea, right? Gangnam Style, Samsung, technology, innovation. But in North Korea, they think that's all bad. And they think, South Korean innovation is causing so many problems that it's better to be in our own secluded lifestyle. We are alone and we don't want to be part of that devilish culture in a way. That's what they believe. You're like, okay, that's interesting. And then, some crazy stuff happened in those 5 days. I feel like it's 5 decades. Number one is we went to see a military parade. Yeah, it was a celebration of 70 years of history of the military party. And so I go there and I see thousands of North Korean soldiers. And the soldiers are just marching with weapons, with guns, with missiles, with trucks, with Air Force. They want to show how strong they are. And I'm there, I'm next to them, and I'm like, kind of scary, but this is interesting. To be clear, eventually it's safe, but we'll get to the meat soon. And you see all that, you can hear Kim Jong-un in the background talking about how amazing they are. I mean, it's a whole new planet. We finished the military parade. North Korea thinks they're really, really strong. And then, one of the guides, the 50-year-old guide, she says, does anybody want to try North Korean food? And I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. It's 20 euros extra. Okay, I'll pay 20 euros. Once in a lifetime experience. What is the food? It's a dog. Wow. It's a dog soup.
Wow.
Yeah. Even my colleague is going crazy. It's a real dog. They cook the dog because it's a North Korean delicacy, and they make dog soup. And out of the 20 people, only 5 people said yes, and I was one of them because I wanted to try, and I wasn't vegetarian then, so please don't hate me. I do regret it, but I wasn't vegetarian then. Now I'm vegetarian. I don't eat dog. I don't eat cow. I don't eat chicken. I don't eat fish. Okay? But 10 years ago, things were different. And I said, I will eat the dog soup. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste good. It's horrible. It's chewy. It's disgusting. I didn't finish it. I regretted it. But that's North Korea. You go to the supermarkets, there's like 20 items. There's not like, supermarkets in South Korea where there's thousands of items. There's 20 items. So you go to the food, not very good. But again, you're a tourist, you're experiencing cultures, so it's all good. I'm just trying to show you how new this is. Now, as we were doing all of this, and this is the part I have never shared. If you want to know more about North Korea, there's a YouTube video that I made. It's in the description. Click on it, watch it. You'll see a much more visual experience of North Korea. But this story I never shared in that video. My guide, my North Korean guide. We're the same age. She's 21, I'm 23. Turns out she speaks really good English. And she speaks really good English, so we start talking. And we sit next to each other in the bus, and we start talking. And the more we talk, the more we like each other. And I'm like, wow, this girl is interesting. And she's attractive, and she's smart. And something happened where there was a spark. A spark with a North Korean girl. And I feel very special. I'm like, wow, this North Korean girl is interested in me. This is way before Nas Daily. This is way before anything. I was just, I was nothing. I was just on a work holiday. And then she starts to tell me about her life. And I start to understand and get exposure to what a North Korean girl does at school, the drama between her friends at high school. And then I ask her, who's your best friend? And then she says, my best friend I have not talked to in 4 years. I'm like, what? How is your best friend and you haven't talked in 4 years? How is that person still your best friend? She says, I'm not allowed to talk to them. I was like, okay, what's going on here? So this is the story. And again, you'll never know the identity of this person, so it's very safe. The story is, this North Korean girl is actually from a rich family. And if you're a North Korean person, and if you're a businessman, if you're rich, you can actually leave North Korea for business, but then you have to go back. So a few years ago, her family left North Korea, which is very rare. A very small percentage of the country can leave the country. You're not allowed to leave or afford to leave. They left to France for business, because her dad is rich in business and all this stuff, maybe sent by the government. And she lives in France for like 4 or 5 years, or 2 years or something like that. And so she gets exposed to our world and she falls in love. She falls in love, and she told me this verbatim. Spotify. She falls in love with Spotify. She falls in love with Beyonce. She loves listening to Beyonce. And then she falls in love with her best friend. Her name is, let's say, X. And she makes a best friend. And they go to school together, and they have fun, and they build an amazing relationship. And then one day, this North Korean girl, she has to go back to North Korea with her dad. And she can never message her best friend again. She cannot access Spotify in North Korea. She cannot listen to Beyonce in North Korea. She has no internet in North Korea. And she cannot email her best friend in North Korea. So she tells me, and just wait, the story gets crazier. She tells me, while I'm in North Korea, she tells me, this is her email address. Please message her because I cannot get to her. Please tell her I miss her. And I'm saying to myself, there is no way that this girl is true. This must be fake news. There is no way. So I get back out of North Korea, and I'll get back inside North Korea soon in the story. I get out of North Korea and I take this email and I message the email she sends me. And I have this email right here from 2015. And I say, hi there. You don't know me, but I got your email address from, let's say, Y person. I assume you are X, who's one of her best friends from France. I just came from a visit in North Korea where Y happened to join us on a tour as a tour guide. She gave me your email address in hopes of connecting with you and tell you that she is doing well. Anyway, please let me know if I'm reaching out to the right person. Would love to connect with you. I sent that email. And then 1 week later, I get a response. 1 week later, I get a response, and I kid you not. And she says, good evening. I am very surprised by your message, Mr. Nasir. I thought Y had forgotten me by now. I'm really happy for you to contact me. You saw her? How is she? What is she doing in North Korea? What happens to her? Yes, Y was my best friend when she was in France, and she still is. I'm really happy now. Thank you for contacting me. I moved. Yes, I'm Algerian and French. 4 years. I never had news about her. I waited very long. I was very worried. She talked to me. She was living in Seoul. So I don't understand why she is in North Korea now. Yeah, you get it? She told her best friend that she's from South Korea. They had to tell others that they're from South Korea because you cannot tell people that you're from North Korea. So the whole time, this girl from North Korea, she wasn't lying. She was forced to lie to her best friend to say, I'm South Korean. And then one day she disappears to South Korea, but actually it's North Korea. And so I messaged that friend back and I say, she's not in Seoul. She's home with her parents in Pyongyang, North Korea. I met with her. We became really good friends. I miss her too. We hung out together for 5 days. She's doing great, I think. She's 21 and she's studying English. She's trying to be a tour guide, but I don't think she likes it very much. She's also the most beautiful girl in North Korea. I'll send you our pictures soon. She tried to write you several times, but she never heard back. Obviously, it's because the government would not let her contact you. But please rest assured, she still thinks you're one of her best friends. I wish to contact her again, but I don't know how. She said she would contact me as well, but so far, nothing. Anyway, she says she writes back, and we say, yes, I tried to write her too, but I didn't receive an answer. I hope she's okay. Yes, she is the most beautiful girl in North Korea. She was so cute when she had her with her short hair. I always told her she was beautiful. And then anyway, later on, I sent her the pictures, and she tells me, I met her at college. We became good friends very fast. For nearly 3 years, we were inseparable. And when she told me they have to go back to South Korea, I was too sad. We promised to get together when we are old in Japan. And she gave me her email address for exchange via email, and I'm waiting to receive her postal address. When she went, I wrote her 1 year ago, and I'm waiting for an answer. Any news about her? It never happened. I thought she had forgotten me, and I forgot and lost her email address. Thank you for sending me the video. She is wonderful, even more than in my memories. She's a beautiful woman now. Also, I remember her English has always been clear and perfect. In English school, she was the best pupil. Is there a way to talk to her? Now, it's really sad. Like, shit, just thinking about this is crazy. It's crazy. What I find sad is that government, essentially it's government, is coming in the middle of two friendships, just two high school girls that want to be friends. And government is saying, no, you cannot be friends. That's really sad. The story gets crazier. Are you ready for this? All right. Okay, so so we keep talking, and at some point it got somewhat like romantic. I mean, I was single back then. This was 10 years ago, to be clear. I'm not interested in her. To be clear, this is a different phase in my life, okay? But it got a little bit like romantic, like open energy. You're cute. I guess she found me cute. And we did the unthinkable. I did the unthinkable. We held hands.
Wow.
We held hands in the bus. We held hands. Shocking, holding hands in the bus, hiding from everybody. And I didn't realize that this is a big no-no. This is a big no-no. The next day, like day 4 or something, or day 5, another guide comes to me and says, be careful. We can see you. Don't get too close. Be careful. I lose my shit. I go crazy. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Don't be an idiot. This is probably one of the most idiotic things I've done. Don't be an idiot. This is like clearly like a thin threat. It is a threat. I was like, okay, whew, don't be an idiot, and just behave. So from that point on, I was like from afar, like, you know, talking and flirting from afar, never hold her hand. And then I say goodbye to her, and then I, you know, last night everybody parties, everybody gets drunk. And this is another thing, another crazy thing nobody knows, which is crazy. The people that go to North Korea on these tour groups, on the last night they drink a lot of alcohol. And back then I used to drink. I don't drink anything anymore. But back then I used to drink, and I drank. And you know, everybody gets extra emotional. And so everybody's drunk, and we're like supposed to behave rationally. Everybody becomes irrational, especially the Germans. A drunk German, good luck. So they all start becoming rowdy and dancing and games. And so I get sad because I have an alcohol influence in me, and I kind of like that girl. So I get sad. So I say goodbye to her. So last night we say goodbye, and here it is midnight. And I'm extremely angry at the system. I'm extremely angry at the government. How dare you, right, separate all these people from each other? How dare you be so crazy as a government? I mean, North Korea is a crazy government. And then I start to do stupid stuff. And then, luckily, the next day comes, and I leave North Korea. And I get out. And I never get back in. I never try to go in. I never want to go back. I'm done. And she waits for me at the train. She comes to the train. It's the last train, and she's like, goodbye. And the train, literally just like in the movies, train goes, and I say goodbye. And I never see her again. I never hear from her again. I never see the other threatening guide again. And I never just want to do this again. And here I'm not going to go into too many details, but I just really think, and this is probably one of the biggest lessons I learned, is alcohol a big no-no. Don't do it, because it makes you irrational. It makes your emotions too much. And so you get too sad, or you get too happy, or you get too excited, or you get to whatever. You make stupid mistakes. And I really think, like, especially if you're in North Korea, or especially in your, like, in extremely important occasions, like even your wedding, you probably should not drink, because you want to be as rational as possible in those very special and sometimes difficult moments. But the reason why I say this is because 3 years later, somebody from America goes on the same tour group that I did. Somebody goes on the same tour group that I did. And they also do the same thing, 5 days in North Korea. But I think something happens. I don't know if it's because of alcohol, not because of alcohol, but something happens where North Korea detains one of the people on this tour group, and they put him in prison. And I think you've heard about it for years. They put him in prison for years, and then he ends up dying in prison. His name is Otto. And so I think 3 years later, that experience has become so real and so dangerous to me. This is not just like hyperbole. His name is, the guy's name is, I feel really, Otto Warmbier. He was an American college student who was imprisoned in North Korea in 2016. I went there in 2015 on a charge of subversion. And he was released by North Korea the next year in a vegetative state and died soon after. And he was part of a guided tour group. And he was arrested at the airport while awaiting departure from the country. He was convicted of attempting to steal a propaganda poster from his hotel, the same hotel we were at, for which he was sentenced to 15 years of imprisonment with hard labor, for trying to steal a propaganda poster, probably a poster of the leader. And he was charged with 15 years of imprisonment. So the story is really complex. And I'm grateful every day for not being in a North Korean prison and for not doing anything that ended up in arrest. I mean, you never know. I don't know. I mean, holding the hand of somebody, I don't know if that's enough to get you in prison. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. But I just feel grateful that I didn't do that. So this story, I hope you understand now why this is the one country I will never go back to. And I think, first of all, I'm not trying to say this to persuade you from not going to North Korea. I actually still think you can go, and I still think you should go. And if you're going there, tourism, take a couple of pictures, blah, blah, like don't drink, shut up, don't talk to the guide, don't hit on anybody, you'll be fine. for the most part, and don't try to steal something. But if you go there and you either hit on a guide, or if you steal a poster, or if you do something, if you get too drunk, I think there's some real repercussions there. And that's the issue with, but I think that, look, I have no feelings now to the girl. Of course, that was just a passing thing for like a week. I'm sure she forgot about me, I forgot about her. But I think there's a big lesson out of this experience. For me, there's a lesson for me, and I hope there's a lesson for you here too. Number one is explore the world. Really, explore the world. Your mind becomes 10 times bigger when you travel. Those who do not travel, it's like reading only one page of a book. The world is a book, and if you don't travel, you read only one page of that book. And going to North Korea, honestly, for me, was the final page of that book. So one is definitely travel. Number two, lesson number two, government matters. Your government matters. If you live under a terrible North Korea dictatorship, it's different than living under a French democratic government. You're having the freedom to express opinions, to be on the internet. To be on the internet is amazing. To have that freedom to listen to Beyonce on Spotify, enjoy it. There's 30 million people that do not enjoy it. And many more in China, but I think China is very different from North Korea, and we can talk about it a different day. So appreciate your freedom, lesson number two. Lesson number three, don't drink alcohol. Don't drink alcohol, really. It just makes everything worse. And that was, for me, was the first moment. I continued drinking after, but 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I completely stopped. That's it, we're done. So don't drink alcohol or stimulants, or drugs or whatever, because these are, nothing good comes out of it. Number five is, if you're in North Korea, don't hold hands with a girl. And this I could not really see coming. I mean, like, she liked me, I liked her. It's like kids liking each other. I didn't know it would end up in getting a threat. So that for me was surprising. If you hold hands with a girl consensually in any other country, it's mostly fine in the West. So when you're in North Korea, or when you're in even the Middle East, like in places that are conservative, try to be a bit more conservative. And that was a lesson for me as well. And number six, I hope that this French girl and this North Korean girl meet one day. I hope they meet. I hope that best friendship continues. Now it's been 14 years of best friendship. And I hope one day they meet. And if they meet, then change has come. Either to France or to North Korea. But change has come. And I think change is a good thing. And I think a lot of the world needs change. And if you want to see how amazing North Korea can become, if you want to see the potential of North Korea, don't look at the dog soup. Oh, lesson number 6, don't eat dog. But if you want to see the potential of North Korea, look at South Korea. It's the same people. It's the same DNA. It's the same culture. It's the same everything. Yet South Korea is one of the richest countries in the world. And from there, we have Samsung. We have so many companies. We have so much medicine, so much tech, so much progress. We have music, Gangnam Style, K-pop, all that stuff comes out of South Korea. If you want to see the potential of North Korea, just look at South Korea and hope that one day, with the right government, we can build up countries like North Korea, and we can build up Libya, we can build up Syria, we can build up Palestine, we can build up the whole world, Venezuela, we can build up the whole world if we just have the right leadership in place. And that is, for me, what the biggest lesson I learned is leadership is important, not just in companies, but especially in countries. And this is why, for now, North Korea is the one country I will never go back to. Thank you for listening.
Wow.
Like it's like a weight off my shoulders.
Wow. It's my first time hearing about this.
My first time saying it.
Oh my god.
Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next week.